Hi, this is Cindy McColley presenting Chapter 10, Evaluation and Improvement of Digital Channel Performance. The learning objectives in this chapter will be to identify the tasks necessary when managing an online presence, to understand terms used to measure and improve site effectiveness, and to develop appropriate processes to collect measures for internet marketing effectiveness. Now, questions that marketers would ask in this chapter include: how much resources do I need to put into a process or into my company to maintain and monitor the website and the overall online presence that I have? What processes should I use to maintain the website and the online marketing? And how do I measure the effectiveness of web marketing? Just like everything else in life, if you place importance and devote time and money to contribute to success, the likelihood of a success is very high. When you think about online marketing, it definitely follows that same paradigm. And in order to determine if you are successful in online marketing as well as your overall website, you need to monitor your marketing, and you need to monitor what's happening on your website, and you need to measure in order to optimize. And that activity is known as web analytics, and there are individuals, departments, and even entire companies that devote their effort to web analytics. Following typical steps that marketers complete in order to continually improve their online marketing. Starting here with stage 0. To begin, you always start with reviewing questions for your optimization. So you would take a look at your metrics. Have you selected the right diagnostic metrics to improve your overall performance and the tools to get that done? So can your analytics software collect and aggregate and visualize the metrics? And there's a ton of tools, and new tools are coming out every single day. And together, the metrics and the tools deliver the quality of web analytics and the overall process. So you have to think about that part of the overall optimization. And then secondarily, the analysis. So now you have data. What do you do with that data? So learn more about what your customers are doing on the site, or perhaps you learn about your click-through rates and your marketing. And then from that analysis, you take action. And you change something, or you use something that's effective more and more, or you increase your budget or you decrease your budget, but you take some type of action. And together, the analysis and the action deliver the quality of the overall process. And together, the quality of the web analytics process and the analytical and action process delivers an improved channel or overall optimization. And so that's where you start overall optimization and web analytics perspective. Now, stage 1 would be creating a performance management system. And you always start with a goal. What are you trying to accomplish? What do you want to achieve with your overall web analytics and optimization? And then performance measurement. Understand what's currently happening on your website, in your marketing, and then diagnose that. The question would be, why is it happening? And then from there, again, you take corrective action. Something is happening, it's either good or bad, and if it's good, you do more. If it's bad, you do less, or you eliminate it. So what should I do about it? And what you're trying to accomplish, controlling what you're doing, measuring what you're doing, and then reviewing what. Stage 2 is defining the performance metric framework. So this is all about balancing the key metrics between the organization's target customer and the organization's marketing tactics. So you start with the business contribution, the online revenue contribution, whether it be direct or indirect, the category penetration, the cost, and the profitability. And then you take a look at the marketing outcomes, and this would be, basically your KPIs. What are you trying to accomplish with what you're marketing? Are you trying to accomplish more leads, more sales, more contracts, more conversions, more retention from the current customers that you have? And then you want to understand more about the customer satisfaction. Are they using the site, their performance and availability, the contact strategies, what are their opinions, what are their attitudes, and what are the brand and then reviewing the customer behavior. So once they're on your site, are they providing information to you? Are they asking for more dialogue? what type of customers are on your site? How are they using your site? Are they hitting certain pages and never touching others? What pages lead to other pages? And so you just want to take a closer look at that. And then the overall website promotion. So if you think about that, what domains or URLs are people clicking from, which they discuss in the book called the referrer efficiency. So if you're currently on Google and you search for something and you land on my site, then you know that Google is a solid referrer domain, which Google is very high for most websites. And then think about the cost of acquisition and reach. So yes, Google is very effective, but did it cost me $10 a click for that customer to get there? Or did it cost me 10 cents a click? And so what you want to do is continually optimize. If you know that there's a site that's a strong referrer, how can you continue to make sure that that efficiency and optimization continues to improve? Search engine visibility, so talking about natural search and linking. And then of course email marketing, and then your overall integration with your overall campaign. And then stage 3 are taking a look at the tools and the techniques for collecting metrics and summarizing the results. And when you take a look at this chart, it's really an example of a balanced scorecard. It provides a review to assess, compare channels. And this is a discussion for like an online retailer. So you want to take a look at this example from a retailer's perspective. This is a lot of data and a lot of information. It would be an extremely efficient company that were to analyze and review these metrics every single month or even every single quarter. While this is a very comprehensive list, most companies would focus on a few of these, but not all of these. Certainly companies that are focused on certain things like improving revenue or improving customer satisfaction would highlight more in the area that is their number one important measurement factor. So take a look at these from a list standpoint, but recognize that not every company is going to utilize each and every one of these techniques or tools or overall metrics to analyze what they're currently doing in the marketplace, but they'll probably pick 2 or 3 or 4 to track and monitor every single month. Here are examples of different measures of visitors volume to a website. Oftentimes you'll take a look at your hits, and hits are basically came to a site. You arrived there. And then page views would be, did you look at the home page, and then did you look at the photo gallery? That would be 2 page views. And then the visitor sessions, you came to the site and then you left and then you came again, that would count as 2. And then if you're a unique visitor and you came to the site and you left and you came back, that would only count as 1 because you would be the same person and the cookie would remember you, and so unique visitors would come up as 1 rather than 2 in that instance. So these are the kind of things that are very typical in tracking websites: hits, page views, visitor sessions, and unique visitors. Most of the time you're interested in understanding about unique visitors, impressions. That's the 2 primary I would suggest that you would review if you were in a typical company. And then there are different types of data within a performance management system for internet marketing. If you take a look at this chart, which is figure 10.9, what you can see is there are operational web analytics that are often reviewed, which are click streams, your customer response profile, and very importantly, any sales transaction. And then there's the second tier, which would be the audience data. So, who are you reaching? What are their opinions? Are they coming back? Is there value from a lifetime perspective, not just this time, but are they longtime customers? If you're Gillette, are they also buying the razor blades? And you want to continue to take a look at lifetime value or value beyond just this transaction. Maybe not lifetime, but certainly beyond this transaction. And that's where the real value of marketing comes into play. It's often difficult because most people just want to understand, hey, I spent the money this month, what did I get this month? Once you get into web analytics, what you will really be interrogating is what is the long-term profit for your evaluation or your optimization. And then your overall strategy, which is taking a look at a scorecard. So typically when you're doing any type of marketing, you'll come up with a scorecard that you will allow your executives or your leaders or your team to constantly monitor. Is it green? Is it yellow? Is it red? And basically the way it works in most companies, if it's green, you do more and you give more. If it's yellow, you kind of watch it. And if it's red, you get rid of it. And the beauty of online marketing is that you can change and optimize constantly and continually. So you're getting more and more green and less red. So if the customer is saying, nope, you didn't get to what I'm interested in, or you did not provide me what I was looking for, then what you do is you say, hey, you know what? No one clicked on that. They're saying it's not okay. And so what we want to do is change that. And oftentimes you'll do an A/B test to say, you know, I'm not really sure which one the customer is going to respond to based on my research. So I'm going to put 2 out there, and whoever wins, I'll do more of that, and I'll eliminate the other. And a very common web analytic tool is Google Analytics. Probably many of you have taken a look at Google Analytics or even utilized it. It's such a very simple tool. Once you put up a website, very intuitive. There are a lot of tutorials, and there are a lot of videos to advise you about it. Really, once you answer a few questions, plug in a URL, you are off and running to really monitor what's currently happening in the marketplace and certainly on your website. So in summary, before you begin to structure a management program, optimization goals must be determined. And a measurement program involves stage 1, defining a measurement process, stage 2, defining a metric framework, stage 3, selection of tools for data collection, reporting, and analytics. And then a common starting point for web analytics is the utilization of Google's analytics. There are other tools out there, but Google is the most well-known and the most intuitive or easy to start with. So that concludes Chapter 10, and I thank you.